Picture this: a vast, sprawling bureaucracy, a labyrinth of departments and agencies, each with its own set of rules, regulations, and, dare we say, coffee mugs. These departments are like small kingdoms, each with its own culture and quirks. This, my friends, is the United States federal government, an institution that, while noble in its purpose, often resembles a Jenga tower on a cruise ship in a hurricane. It's a delicate balance, constantly teetering on the edge of chaos. The current structure, cobbled together over centuries, struggles to keep pace with the demands of the 21st century. It's like trying to run modern software on an ancient computer. From the digital divide to the climate crisis, the government often seems ill-equipped to address the challenges of our time. These are not just minor issues. They are existential threats that require swift and effective action. We're talking about a system where finding the right agency to help you with a problem can feel like winning the lottery, except instead of millions of dollars, the prize is a 40-page government form and a mild sense of despair. It's a maze of paperwork that can leave even the most patient person feeling frustrated. And it's not just about inconvenience, folks. It's about the real-world impact on people's lives. This inefficiency costs taxpayers trillions of dollars each year. That's right, trillions. Money that could be better spent on improving our communities. Imagine how many potholes we could fill, how many teachers we could hire, how many episodes of Last Week Tonight we could produce with that kind of money. The possibilities are endless. The question is, can this behemoth of bureaucracy be reformed? Can we streamline processes and make the government more efficient? Can we drag the United States federal government, kicking and screaming if necessary, into the 21st century? It's a monumental task, but not impossible. Well, hold on to your hats, America, because things are about to get interesting. Change is coming, and it's going to be a wild ride. To understand the current state of the United States federal government, we need to take a trip down memory lane, a journey back to a simpler time, when people churned their own butter, wrote letters with quill pens, and the federal government was a lean, mean governing machine. It was a time when the government's role was limited, and its reach was not as extensive as it is today. Over the years, the government, much like your Uncle Gary after Thanksgiving dinner, has expanded. It has grown in size and complexity, taking on more responsibilities and functions. Each national crisis, each new challenge has led to the creation of new departments and agencies, often with overlapping mandates and jurisdictions. This expansion was often seen as necessary to address the growing needs of the nation. Take, for example, the Department of Education. Sounds straightforward, right? Think again. Its responsibilities are vast and often intersect with other departments. While the Department of Education handles federal funding for education, other agencies, like the Department of Health and Human Services, deal with related issues like early childhood education and school nutrition. This overlap can lead to confusion and inefficiency. It's enough to make your head spin faster than a politician trying to explain a campaign donation from a lobbyist. The result? A tangled web of bureaucracy that is confusing for citizens and inefficient for everyone. Navigating this maze can be a daunting task for anyone trying to understand how the government works. It's like trying to assemble a piece of IKEA furniture with instructions written in hieroglyphics. The complexity and lack of clarity can be incredibly frustrating, leaving many feeling overwhelmed and lost. Now, some might say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But let's be honest, the United States federal government is about as not broke as a screen door on a submarine. It's riddled with inefficiencies and outdated processes that hinder its performance. The good news is that restructuring the government isn't about reinventing the wheel. It's about taking a good hard look at what's not working and finding ways to make it better, more effective, and more efficient. It's about identifying the bottlenecks and the red tape that slow down progress and finding innovative solutions to streamline operations. Think of it like this. You wouldn't drive a car with a flat tire and a sputtering engine across the country, would you? You'd be asking for trouble. No, you'd take it to a mechanic, get it tuned up, and maybe even invest in a new GPS system to ensure a smooth journey. The same logic applies to our government. That's what restructuring the government is all about. Optimizing for efficiency, responsiveness, and accountability. It's about making sure every part of the system works in harmony. A more streamlined government means less redundancy and lower costs for taxpayers. It means more value for every dollar spent. It means clearer roles and responsibilities, which translates to better communication and coordination between agencies. This ensures that everyone is on the same page and working towards common goals. And it means a government that is more agile and responsive to future challenges, whether it's another pandemic, a climate catastrophe, or even a hostile alien invasion. A government ready to adapt, improvise, and overcome. And now let's talk about some specific proposals, shall we? One that's been making headlines is Project 2025, a plan developed by conservative think tanks that aims to fundamentally reshape the federal government. And when we say fundamentally reshape, we're not talking about giving it a fresh coat of paint and calling it a day. Project 2025 is more like taking a wrecking ball to the whole structure and rebuilding it from the ground up, preferably after handing the keys to a very specific group of people. We're talking about abolishing entire departments like the Department of Education, consolidating others, and drastically reducing the size of the federal workforce. Now, while we appreciate a good dose of ambition, even we have to admit that Project 2025 is about as subtle as a sledgehammer in a tea party. Critics argue that it's less about improving government and more about consolidating power and advancing a particular ideological agenda. And they're not wrong to be concerned. Beyond Project 2025, exploring alternative paths. But fear not, dear viewers, for Project 2025 is not the only game in town. There are other, less radical proposals for restructuring the government that deserve our attention. These proposals focus on incremental changes like merging overlapping agencies, streamlining regulations, and empowering agencies to adopt new technologies. One such idea is to create a new Department of Technology to oversee the government's digital infrastructure and promote innovation. Another is to establish a permanent commission tasked with reviewing and recommending changes to the federal bureaucracy. These proposals might not be as flashy or headline-grabbing as Project 2025, but they offer a more pragmatic and less disruptive approach to reform. The key is to find solutions that address the root causes of government inefficiency without sacrificing the essential services that Americans rely on. The people's restructuring, transparency, and engagement. Now, before we get too carried away with all this talk of restructuring, let's remember one crucial thing. This is not just about rearranging the furniture in the halls of power. This is about creating a government that is more responsive to the needs of the American people. That means ensuring that any restructuring effort is transparent and accountable to the public. It means involving citizens in the process through town halls, online forums, and other forms of public engagement. And it means holding elected officials responsible for ensuring that any changes actually benefit the people they are supposed to serve. Restructuring the government should not be a top-down bureaucratic exercise. It should be a collaborative effort that reflects the values and priorities of the American people. Investing in success, resources, and technology. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite subject, money, or more specifically, how we're going to pay for all of this restructuring. Because let's be real, folks, government efficiency doesn't come cheap. It requires investment. But here's the good news. Restructuring can actually save taxpayers money in the long run by reducing redundancy, eliminating waste, and improving efficiency. It's like investing in a good pair of shoes. It might cost more up front, but it will save you pain and money in the long run. We need to prioritize funding for agencies and programs that are proven to be effective and align with national priorities. We need to invest in training and development to equip federal employees with the skills they need to navigate a changing world. And we need to embrace technology as a tool for streamlining government operations and improving citizen engagement. The urgency of now a call to action. The U.S. federal government is at a crossroads. The challenges we face as a nation, from climate change to economic inequality to a global pandemic, demand a government that is more efficient, more responsive, and more accountable to the people it serves. This is not a partisan issue, it's an American issue. It's about ensuring that our government is equipped to meet the challenges of the 21st century and beyond. It's about creating a government that works for everyone, not just the wealthy and well-connected. The time for action is now. We cannot afford to wait another decade, another election cycle, another crisis to address this pressing issue. The future of our democracy depends on it. A government for the people, by the people. Restructuring the U.S. federal government will not be easy. It will require difficult choices, tough conversations, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. But the potential rewards are too great to ignore. By working together, we can create a government that is more efficient, more responsive, and more accountable to the people it serves. We can create a government that reflects the values and aspirations of the American people. We can create a government that is truly worthy of the name We the People. So, what are you waiting for? Get informed, get engaged, and get involved. The future of our democracy is counting on you. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful and empowering, please subscribe, like, and share this video to support our channel and stay updated with our latest content. Your engagement and participation are crucial as we strive to bring about meaningful change. Together, we can make a difference, one step at a time. Let's create a future where our government truly serves its people. Join the movement today.